Okay, I just want to start by saying thank you to both of you for taking the time out to sit down and chat with me. I suppose we should start right at the beginning, and Philip, with your video game career. So, how did you first get into video game design?
That was more or less by chance. So before I did anything on the video game side, I hadn't any contacts with digital media at all. I made paper figures, and then I studied interaction design. And during my studies, usually you get a programmer on your side, but it is usually also not well balanced. So there are many more designers than programmers. But I just wanted to have something that people could really download on the
Mhm.
other end of the world. So I learned a very basic programming language, which I still use today, um, and programmed my very first game. Won a very small award, but that very small award brought me into the right indie gaming circles.
Mhm.
So I just never stopped doing it, I guess.
Yeah, is this Bacon? Is this the game you're talking about?
My very first game is What the Frog,
Okay.
but that isn't available anymore. It was really just it had a few hundred downloads and then it wasn't updated anymore.
Okay. So then, so what do you enjoy most about video game design? What's the thing you love about your job?
I just love how I'm doing something very different every day. So I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow, because when you do everything from the idea of the design, the programming, the marketing, you just never know
Hmm.
what's next. And I love being surprised, and I love being surprised um, by things that just come up.
Hmm.
Um, Sometimes I do handicraft, and the next day I do something completely digital.
Hmm.
So I just love the variety.
Yeah. So what made you want to branch into musicals then? Where did that sort of transition come into it?
It all began that I saw Lorraine on TV. Before that, I wouldn't even think about or have thought about making something with music.
Hmm.
But that was just the right humor that kicked in, and I just wanted to make something bigger because I have maybe 20 games or so on the App Store
Hmm.
and all have to be updated. And so I just don't want to come into a circle where I'm just updating and never create something new. So I
Hmm.
just wanted to make something big. And I think that was a good start to start with the music.
Yeah. Obviously, you mentioned Lorraine Bowen, who has actually appeared on my YouTube channel before. Um, but what made you want to get into sort of making the music for a video game, which is not something I know you've not something you've done before? Oh, sorry, Lorraine.
Oh, sorry, me. I'm looking
Yes, I
at.
was going to say.
Okay.
So,
You're gonna have
what
to
made you
edit
want?
this now. I was just looking at Philip.
So what made you want to get
um,
involved with the app side of things?
oh God, I couldn't resist. I too love randomness of my job. And well, is it a job? Is it a life? I don't know. I don't know what my existence is on this planet. But to have someone come along into my life and say, "Would you like to write a musical?" I think yes, yes. Yeah, he had a budget. He said he'd won some money, and the money could only be spent
Mm,
creating a new, for something, creating a new game. So hey, sounded
mm,
fantastic to me, and I've never done that before. It's something amazing because a musical isn't just a series of pieces of
mm,
music. It's a whole structure, a whole arc of tension, drama, characterization. It's exciting, it's ballads, it's you know, fast things, slow things. It's very exciting.
Yeah, it's creating that collection of music rather than just singular tracks next to each other. So obviously the project, Philip, the project you've been brought together on is Peanut Butter and Jelly Sandwich the Musical. So where did that come from, the idea?
That was pretty much a collaboration, because initially I wanted to do something like Bacon the Musical. But then Lorraine's first reaction wasn't that optimistic. And the more I thought about it, the more I also thought, yeah, it probably even couldn't create such a tension arc like two characters could. I imagined Bacon the Musical more like a high school musical, where this Bacon is just unnaturally glorified at the end, but starts like like an underdog. But I like the idea now very much more that we're along the story of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. And this just creates another whole layer of ridiculousness. Because at every point of the game, you can just transfer this 400-year-old story to something so blatantly normal, like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And that just works very well, I think.
And obviously bringing that sort of 400-plus-year-old play to life must have been quite difficult. So Lorraine, creating the music for a retelling of probably one of the most popular stories ever told, did that add pressure to you?
No, not at all. I'm going to be honest that I didn't really I didn't really think about the Romeo and Juliet elements at all. I was so all consumed with these massive storyboards that Philip gave me. So for every act, and we need one of these, Philip, to show people, I think, because it was very difficult it was actually quite difficult initially to communicate, I think. And to, he said, oh, the introduction has to be 5 seconds, or the next section has to be 1 or 2 minutes. Then we need these things called buffers. Right. So I'm going to explain what that is now. So that's something I'd never come across, obviously, in normal songwriting. A buffer. So a buffer was this section of 8 bars to 16 bars that will be able to go round and round and round and round as the player is trying to get out of that particular scenario. So this was a completely new thing. Was it a solo? Was it like a solo? It kind of was, but it had to be able to pick back to a previous time if the player just completely screwed it up. So it's the keys that you're talking about had to relate in some way, and then to make the song, which is not really a song, it's a piece, interesting. It's nice to have a key change now and again. So where are you going to put that in relation to these buffers? You couldn't put the key change before the buffers, else the keys would be going all round really weirdly. So we used this massive storyboard in the end, and these became our kind of Bible, I suppose. And they were everything became so much easier and fantastic once these storyboards were initialized. Have you got one, did you say, Philip?
Yes, I just got them from behind the screen. They're very long, so I can just show parts.
Oh, it's wonderful. I want those.
Yeah, they're from left to right. And we had to be very clear about the phases, because we wanted to blend them really in, not invisible, but the hearing inhearable, so that the blending was so well made that you really think, wow, I wonder how this music reacts to where I am, because it does, because the buffers work so well. But we had to be very clear in the storyboards when the atmosphere changes, and how these elements could go along well if the player is fast, if the player is slow. That every playing of the game works as well as the other.
And then obviously you talked about the sort of collaborativeness of it and how it was built together. Do you think that maybe the worlds that you two have functioned in so far have were there points where maybe you disagreed or you needed to collaborate, you needed to work together to figure out a solution to something that you hadn't experienced before? So obviously I know Lorraine is you do your music and Philipp does game design. Was there a point where you had to kind of discuss with each other further of how things would work?
I think,
yeah, go on, and you say.
I think the only major disagreement was at the very beginning because I wanted to do Bacon the Musical for too long. But then I really think we didn't have any major disagreements.
No. So those kind of just...
I would say it was amazing. We used a platform called Slack, and it's great. It's a bit like a kind of WhatsApp, but in chapters. So you could chapterize your conversation and say, right, so this is the king. What's the king doing here? I can't quite understand. And I just did that. And we had a Zoom meeting every week or whatever. I can't remember. It was brilliant. The whole process I felt was really easy. In fact, the music side I thought was the easiest part of all. Creating a tune or going on to act 3, we needed a party music. We're having a party surprise, something like that. I just used to go for a walk and think of a tune and then sing it into my phone, come back, and sometimes they were rubbish, but most of the time they weren't.
And then
she says, I didn't want to do bacon. I'll tell you why I didn't want to do bacon, because so many of my friends are vegetarians and vegans. I'm not, but I'm very particular about my meat. And so I don't like pigs being in crates. And that was the whole reason I didn't want to do bacon. It's all about the crates. In England, we don't have crates, but in Denmark they do. And all across the world, they have crates for pigs. It's so cruel and it's horrible. Yeah. My mother has got a pig heart piece in her body. So it just shows you how we are related so much to pigs. Anyway, that's my big anti-bacon thing.
Just
I do like a bacon sandwich on a Saturday morning.
Just to clarify for those watching, I know we've talked about bacon quite a bit, but obviously, Philipp, bacon was one of the games you created that did fairly well on the app markets, and that's where the idea for Bacon the Musical, I suppose, started.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not only that, bacon is just it can be used very ironically. So that's what I like about it. It wouldn't have been for supporting the pigs in crates. It would be more like glorifying it so much that you question your own behavior. That's the one thing. But the gameplay thing I like about Bacon is that it is very glibbery and floppy. So you have a lot of things you can do with it gameplay wise. And we found that in the toast as well. But not all elements in the game are toast. So a strawberry, it's round. It's not as interesting as a bacon shaped thing for the gameplay. But in the end, we found ways to make it interesting. Like the round thing is very squishy. It can roll through narrow gaps.
Yeah. And
the peanut is more capsule shaped. You can just do other interesting gameplay things with it.
And Lorraine, this is the peanut butter and jelly and bacon as well, I suppose, is continuing that theme of your music being related to food. Obviously, you rose to fame with the Crumble song. You had the pizza song. So
spinach.
Yes, yeah. There seems to be a common theme of food. Why is that important to you?
Very important to me because a lot of singers sing about love, and that's never really something I've really found hugely interesting. I just think it's been overdone, and there's almost every angle has been taken care of by other people. But food, which we all eat at least twice or three times a day, hasn't really been explored hugely. And I love food. So
can't live without it.
Can't live without it, no. But
yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, remember that there's one big important thing is that when I was composing the music, I didn't really know what the animation or the pictorial sense of the musical would be. So in my mind, for example, when he said we're in a kitchen and we're going through the pipes, so in my mind it was like Tom and Jerry, or it was very cartoony. Whereas now I can see for the first time, in fact, it was only last week I saw the whole thing for the first time, that it's very much cut out images, and it's amazing. I mean, it is amazing. It's fantastic.
So Philip, did it always work with you coming up with ideas and passing them to Lorraine for music, or was there some times when the music inspired something or encouraged you to add something?
Yes, absolutely. So the thing is, I usually work alone, so I don't have to tell someone what I'm trying to do. And I mean, I do work with others, but not on games. So we have something like for example, an app for businesses. So we can always have the question, this specific design change lead to our goal? But we can't do that in a game. So the goal of the game is just to have a good time. But it's not clear to me from the beginning how it will look, how it will feel, what the interaction will be. And this all comes from the process. And I'm getting inspired by the music. And the music is, on the other hand, getting inspired by the visuals. But I can't do the visuals without the music, or having an image in my mind how it should look, how it should work together. And so it was more like stacking each other up with the respective media.
Fantastic. So a question for both of you, but we'll go to Lorraine first. Why should people download Peanut Butter and Jelly Sandwich the Musical?
People should download Peanut Butter and Jelly the Musical because it's completely unique, and you'll never ever see anything like it in the present or in the future, because it's taken ages and it's brilliant, it's colourful, it's tuneful, it works on many levels, and what can I say? Well, however much it costs, it's worth it.
Oh, fantastic.
Buy it.
Philippe, why do you think people should download Peanut Butter and Jelly the Musical?
We tried to make something that took now 4.5 years and condense it into maybe 1 or 2 hour experience. And we really try that it burns out your brains. It's really intense. So a lot of people that played it say it makes them dizzy, but in a good kind of way. Everything moves, everything turns, and it's just very intense. And maybe you want to go to sleep after playing the musical. That's fine. That's not my. That's not the original intention. But we really try to move you with the musical, with the game. And this is something. It won't cost much. I don't really know yet how much it will cost, but it will not cost much more than going to Starbucks.
Totally. So Philip, where can people stay up to date with the game and follow the journey of it?
You can go to kamibox.de/PBJ, sign up for the newsletter, or you can also follow Lorraine or me on any social media platform of your choice.
Fabulous. And my final question is for both of you. We'll start with Lorraine. So obviously this is a new experience for you as writing music for a musical. What advice would you have for people who are looking to go into the same journey progression that you did?
To write songs or to do a game or something like that?
To work on a musical,
On a
writing
musical. Oh, I completely know that answer, because I think you because you have to just wrap yourself round with songs. You know, you have to say to yourself, what is a song? Is it just a collection of ideas? Is it a load of newspaper articles like David Bowie? Or is it, in my case, I choose one theme and get the catchiest tune, try and create. Well, I don't even try to create an earworm. It just kind of comes, because if it doesn't earworm me, it's not worth getting out there. I'm very strict on that. I would never write anything that doesn't have some kind of position in the universe. I hear so many bad tunes that they make me feel ill, because they're just going nowhere, and I think they've been written by AI or something. But AI doesn't really understand the human brain and the whistling and the chord. But anyway, I could rant on about songs, but I did a degree in music, and we studied Wolf, you know, the beauty of the German leader. You know, I studied Burt Bacharach. Burt Bacharach is the genius of songwriting, and then you just fuse it all together somehow into a musical. Is like a symphony, isn't it? Well, you know, it's a collection of songs. But I'm very grateful for this opportunity, and I just think it's a fantastic thing. And thank you so much for interviewing us about. I mean, this is the first interview, I would say, as well. So it's very early days. We don't even know how it's going to go, do we, Philip?
Yeah, we'll see.
So, same question to Philly. What advice would you have for people looking into breaking into the musical sector?
Oh, excuse me, could you repeat that?
Sorry, what advice do you have for people who are looking to get into the musical sector as well?
I wouldn't say I'm in the musical sector. So I'm in the gaming sector. I can give people advice how to go.
Oh, yes,
get there.
Totally.
So this is quite easy, actually. It's quite democratic also, because you don't need material. You don't have to spend anything beside your time. It's all created from your digits. And if you have an idea, you can just go for it. And you won't have to buy wood, concrete, whatever. If you have ideas for houses, that's much more difficult. But if you have ideas for games, go for it. You don't even need a publisher nowadays. You can just be your own boss when you upload something on the App Store or on the Play Store. It's risk-free, basically.
Yeah, fantastic. So that is all the questions I have. So I will end the same way I started, just by saying thank you so much for sitting down and chatting with me. I will put all the links in the comments below so people can stay up to date with the app and with yourselves. But yes, thank you so much, and I shall speak to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.